Hi everybody, I'm Jack the Artist. Welcome to my Big Schools Green Screen Champions project. This last video is about exploring designing new types of PPE. One of the things that we've seen happen during the COVID-19 outbreak, there's been a shortage of PPEs, protective clothing for people in workspaces. This task is going to be exploring how can we design a piece of PPE functional but also aesthetic. So thinking about, could it become a fashion statement to wear a mask? Looking at masks, you could do an entire costume or a whole suit if you want to. One thing you might want to think about is function and aesthetic again. So that it functions, that it fits in a certain way, and it definitely does the job and it protects, but it also maybe looks quite interesting, or it could become a fashion accessory in some way if you wanted it to. Or it could have some kind of cultural meaning. If we look at masks through history, they've always served kind of multiple purposes, and in terms of cultures and religions and things, some masks of kind of devils and monsters and things are often used to ward off evil spirits. So I'm going to start by just drawing maybe a few sort of head shapes, just like 1, 2, 3, like down here. I'm going to just draw a line straight down the middle. Okay, straight down the middle of these, so that's like a sort of a line of symmetry. And then I'm also going to draw a line that cuts it clean in half as well. This is just a guideline that you can use for drawing a proportion of a face. Then between this line here, this one that cuts through the middle, and this bottom part, which would be the chin, I'm going to do another halfway line like this, okay? And then another halfway line between that line and the chin, so another halfway. So you should have sort of eighth, quarter, half, whole. And on this line here, that's where my nose is going to be, and on this line here is where my mouth is going to be, and then on this line here is where my eyes go. So you can see that that just sort of sketches out the rough proportions, and we'll go over this again in a little while, but I can do that again on this one. So halfway about there, halfway between there and there, okay. All right, and the neck just comes out from where the mouth line touches the side of the face, so straight down like that, straight down like that, there you go. Right, that just gives us a couple of heads to work on there. Is my mask going to become complete with sort of goggles? So am I going to sort of start with kind of goggles? Is it all in one kind of attachment like this with kind of a respirator? Is it a single respirator, the air vents on the side here, or are they kind of extending ones more like a gas mask? How to maximise your PPE, so how to make it completely sort of protective for people who are wearing it, but also to think about things like, is it going to be comfortable and is it going to be adaptable? So can you sort of switch the glasses up, off on hinges? Sort of, does it clip over the ear, come over the eyes, over the mouth, and just sort of fit over the face like a visor? Or is it sort of attached with a strap? Does the strap go over the top of the head as well? Does it go round underneath sort of the chin area? These are all things you can really start to sort of play around with. Kind of a main sort of visor, which is what a lot of people are wearing at the moment, and then a mask, a separate mask. But is there a way that the two things could come apart? So could my mask, my main sort of mask part here with the respirators, could that be attached to like a neck piece that could be pulled down? So could it be that it's like a hoodie? There's different fashion designers that have experimented with things like Stone Island. They designed this kind of a ski mask that could be zipped up, so it has a sort of a zip up the middle, and then sort of goggles like this. It could be something that you wear on a hoodie, and that actually there's like a respirator in the hood, and then you could like zip it up at the top. It could be that it just sort of clips over the ears, around over the face like this, and then maybe the visor could just be attached to the mask like so. But first thing is, I'm going to draw two heads, so one next to the other. One's going to be a profile and one's going to be looking straight on. And again, I'm just thinking about my proportions as well. So start off, when you're drawing a face or a head, it's good if you sort of hold the pencil quite far back like this, so it's nice and loose. That way you're not drawing with your fingers, instead you'll draw with your entire arm or your entire hand like this. And I'm just going to draw a nice loose sort of oval shape like this until I get that right shape that I want, and then I can press a little bit harder and I've got the right sort of shape like that. Okay, and then again I'm just going to use my sort of lines of proportion. So first of all, I'm going to do a line straight down the middle, okay, for symmetry. I'm going to press a little bit harder actually, just so you can see. So it's line straight down the middle for symmetry. Then cut that clean in half again. So that line that cuts clean in half like so. And then again, remember it's between the chin and the eye line, halfway. And then between the nose and the chin, halfway. Okay, and then we can just sort of pencil in just some details of the face. Doesn't have to be really, really detailed, just to kind of give an idea of someone, the user wearing it. So I'm just going to draw. There we go. And then the ears. And then to make this stand out, I'm just going to go over it with some pen as well, so that the head behind it becomes sort of transparent in a way. Sort of shadow down the creases of the fabric. And then I'm going to also sort of draw in the sort of adapted areas I talked about, maybe these respirator sort of parts. If you want to label it as well, you could label your design and kind of put in some kind of materials, and think about what the materials are made from. If you're drawing glass or anything reflective, if you just draw a couple of lines just over the surface, it kind of looks like it's reflective. Notice how when I'm drawing, I'm kind of just marking in with kind of little sort of marks and little curves like this and bumps. These are just sort of drawing skills that kind of help create texture and sort of folds in the material as well. Sort of starting to look a little bit like one of those old plague masks from the Black Plague. Really creepy. Have a go at drawing a profile view of it as well, so sort of a side view. Find a profile of someone, so if you've got someone who will sit for you, or even if you just look for an old magazine or something, and that will help you kind of do a profile. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same skill, but instead it's going to show side on instead. So I'm going to start with that oval shape first. So just going to draw around, but this time whatever way my face is looking, so I'm going to sort of copy this lady's face, so she's looking this way. Just do a line where the chin is facing towards, arc off the side of the face to that line. So rather than being a solid oval, it's sort of an oval with like an extended sort of chin area out here. We're going to draw a line straight down the middle, but this time this line is actually going to be kind of to show where our ear is going to go. I'm going to halve it again. So between the chin, which is here, but that line of the chin, and the eyes, halfway. Okay, so you should be able to see if it's roughly halfway. And then again, halfway between this line and the chin line there. So again, halfway, like that. And that's going to show now where our nose is from the side, between the eye and the nose line, where our mouth roughly is, and where our eye roughly is on this line. The eye is going to be sort of right to the edge of the face here. When you're drawing your eye, you can just draw sort of a triangle shape with like a round base like that. So that's the eye there, and then the nose is going to come out from where the eye is down, and then level off sort of where that nose line is. So you can use this line at the bottom to sort of show the lips, where the lips start down here, and then you're going to round off to the chin around here. The ear I'm going to put in just to the left of my symmetry line there, because you might want the ear, because if you're obviously drawing a strap you might need to use the ear to kind of help. Where the eye and the nose sort of meet, I'm just going to draw in a little bit and then out for the forehead, and then up and then round to the back of the head. And the back of the head's going to go push just outside of my original oval, and then down, and same with the neck. The neck can come down just in front of this line here, and then I have like a really nice sort of profile image of someone that just gives me something to work on there. And when you finish that, so when you finish your design, I'm going to show you how now we can explore making it in an actual 3D modeling software. So we're going to be taking this design and putting it into software called Sculptris, which has been designed by Logic, who created ZBrush, which is what the video game designers can model creatures and characters on. So, and it's a free software. Sculptris, you will need either a Windows PC or an Apple computer. It doesn't work on iPad. If you start by just Googling Sculptris, and the first website that will come up will be pixilogic.com, which is the company that designed Sculptris. And like I said before, Sculptris is a more simplified version of ZBrush, which is what is the industry kind of tool for modelling creatures and characters. So click on that, and then you can see it tells you a little bit about Sculptris and the tools that you can do on it. You're going to click on free download, and just before you click anything, just make sure your parent or guardian that you are allowed to download this software, because you shouldn't be downloading anything unless you've had permission. Then you're going to choose whether you're going to run it on Mac OS X or Windows, so if it's Windows or Mac. So I'm going to click Windows, and it's going to ask you to fill in some details before you submit. So again, you need to check this with your parent or guardian, and if you ask them just to fill in the name and an email address, and it'll send you a link in case it doesn't work when you try to download it. And then you want to click either probably hobbyist or other, and then submit. Okay, see if thank you for submitting your information, and then you can just download. So you can either click this, or you can go to the email and you'll have received an email with a link. So I'm going to click on that link, and then that will have downloaded now to my downloads. So if I go to my downloads now, I should see Sculptris installer. So it should look something like this. Sculptris installer. So I'm going to click on that, double click on that, and press yes to run it, and then just follow the download. So yep, I accept. Make sure you read that, or if you get your parent or guardian to read it before you sign or agree to anything, it's just terms and conditions. It's going to stick it into my program files. Next, click next again. Setup is now ready to begin, and then it will install. I'm just going to say finish, and I've got Sculptris now already on here. If you can't find it, you can just search it in your search bar. So I'm going to double click on it and open it up. So Sculptris So first of all, you see straight away I have a ball that I can work with. So we'll just talk about the navigation of the software. So if I right click with my mouse, you can see this line down the middle. That's my sort of line of symmetry. I can see that moves. That's because if I right click, I can move the ball around. And if I left click, that enables me to sort of mark, make and draw into my model, like so. I can also zoom in and out, so using the wheel of my mouse I can zoom in and out. If you're using a trackpad on a laptop, it will either be the track wheel or 2 fingers maybe on a Mac, forwards and backwards to zoom in and out. I have different tools and different icons up here. It's very simple. It's good to just sort of play around with it first and just get used to it. So these are all my tools. So I have a crease, which enables me to sort of draw creases. I have a scale tool, so that enables me to scale, make my object larger or smaller. I have a draw tool, which enables me to draw sort of lumps and bumps. A flatten tool, which enables me to flatten marks out. I have a inflate tool, which enables me to sort of inflate an area. You can see if I inflate it from the side, for some things like eyes. I have a pinch tool as well to kind of pinch areas in, make them sort of thinner. And I have a smooth tool, which enables me to then smooth over areas. Okay, so that's my different kind of mark making tools. These sort of ones in this corner here, and you can also adapt the tools as well. So there is icons up here, so it says detail, so that adjusts the detail of the mark, and I have a bar here for the strength of the bar, so I can make it much stronger or I can make it weaker. And then I also have the size, so I can make the strength and the size, so it's larger and bigger, so I can make sort of bigger sort of changes to my model. And at any time, if you make a mistake, you can just press Ctrl Z or Command Z just to go back. If you're interested in working on ZBrush or Sculptris, there's loads and loads of videos you can watch online that will go into a lot of this stuff in detail. Wireframe enables you to see how many polygons your model's made up of, and you'll see that the more complex that you draw and make your model, the more polygons you'll see, which are these triangles, these polygon shapes. And obviously you can unselect symmetry, so if you don't want your model to be symmetrical, you can unselect it, but if you unselect it, it means that anything I draw now will not be symmetrical, and if I try to reselect symmetry, it will redo what I've just made and turn it into a symmetrical model again. If you don't like what you've done, it's very easy just to sort of start again. You can go to click new sphere, and you can just say new scene or add an object. So you can add more objects in. Okay, so you can kind of adapt your model already, or you can just start again and go to new scene and just start completely from scratch. There's also a plane, so you can work on planes as well. So that does a sort of a flat surface. So if you want to kind of just play around with model making and drawing and textures first, it's a good way to sort of experiment. So I'm going to start to make my model now. just going to save it. So I'm just going to go save this model as my mask test, just onto my desktop. When you finish your design, you exactly how you want it. You can change the material, so you can look at kind of different kinds of materials that you could use. So you go like chrome is quite cool. You can think about the kind of materials that your mask could be made from. So it could be clear like plastic, or it might be something like reflective. And I'm going to, because I want to do these bits glass, so I'm just going to go paint. Just drop my resolution down. Can choose the colour, so it could be that. I'm going to do sort of blue colour on. If I go to the materials now, you can see that it actually sort of puts the finish of the material onto the colours I use. So if I wanted it to be chrome, keeps the original colours I painted in, but adds them to this chrome sort of model. Gold. So to export this as an image now, what we do is we go to Option. If I say Save Image, and I'm going to save it as Mask Image 1. I can either select the PNG or the JPEG. I'm going to click JPEG and then press Save. That's going to render my model now as an image. So if I press OK and I close this down, if I double click, I should have an image of my model. So enjoy, play around with Sculptris, and yeah, cool, good luck.